this section of the chapter, the bases are larger than 10. So when the bases are larger than 10, they use letters to represent the numerals. The only base we're going to look at is base 16 because that's the one that's most widely used. But for example, if you're going to do base 12, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you can't have a two-digit number represent a numeral. It has to stay in its column. So A would represent 10 and B would represent 11. So for 16, what we're going to look at, A is still 10, B is 11, C is 12, D is 13, E is 14, and F is 15. Okay, so that's the base we're going to look at. Okay, so here's an example. 7DE, base 16 to base 10. So still starting, it's still doing the same thing. This is 16 to the 0, 16 to the 1, 16 to the 2, but here's 7. D represents 13 and E represents 14. So you just have to remember and jot it down that those letters represent different numbers. Okay, so 7DE base 16 is 2014 base 10. Okay, so let me show you one. Okay, so now the first thing I was going to do if I was using base 16 is I would jot off to the side so that I remember that A is 10, B is 11, C is 12. That's the only one I really need for this one. So C is going to be 12. So this C really represents a 12. So again, this is the zeros column, this is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3. So this number would be C times 16 to the third plus 2 times 16 squared plus 7 times 16 to the first plus 9 times 16 to the 0. So again, C represents 12 and 16 to the third is 4,096 plus 2 times 16 squared is 256 plus this would just be 7 times 16 and this would be 9 times 0. So now when I multiply, I got 49,152 plus 1536 plus 112 plus, that's not 9, that's 1. Sorry. And that would be 9. And 50,809. What would it be if I didn't make at least one mistake? Come on. Okay, so that would be 50,809. Okay, would be your answer. All right, so now let's take those numbers and change them to base 16. Now this is a little bit harder because you really have to do the division, a long division, not like the short way like I did it before. Let's make sure I grab the right pen. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put little dashes up here. That's where I'm going to fill in my answers because I really am not going to have them written down. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So let me grab my answer here. Okay, so I divided 16 into 6,713. Okay, so 6 went into 67 4 times. That's 64. Now I'm really doing long division here. So 16 into 31 goes 1 time. So that's 16. And then when you subtract, you get 15. So then you bring the 3 down, you get 153. That goes in 9 times. So that's 144. So here's finally the remainder. This is my answer. And this answer is going to go back here because if you remember when I was doing it before, I was reading down. So this would have been my bottom, or in this case, it's going to go there. So now I'm doing 16 divided into this 419 that I have here. So 16 into 41 goes twice. And that's 32. And then you bring down the 9 here. 16 into 99 goes 6 times, and that's 96. And now here's my remainder of 3. So this 3 is going to come up here. Okay, so now I'm doing 16 into 26. That's going to go once. And now I have my dreaded remainder of 10. That's equal to A. So that's going to go here. That's going to be an A. Let me just move this thing out of the way. So now I have just 16 into 1, which goes 0 times, and a remainder of 1. So that would be my answer, 1A39 base 16. The only difference is I have to do my long divisions because it's not a one-digit number that I can divide shortly, and I have to remember that I'm working this way for my answer, so that's why it's 1A and then the 3 and the 9. So because like this would have been my top when I got my 0. So if you want, you can do the lines, or just remember that you have to read it backwards. Okay, so let me try another one for you. Okay, so I'm going to take 7,892 and divide it into base 16. So again, I have to do long division, so I do 16 into 7892. So 16 into 78 goes 4 times, which is 64. And this is 149. 16 into 149 goes 9 times. That's 144. And that's 52. And then that goes 3 times, which is 48. And then the remainder here is 4. So remember, that's going to be my end here, not the beginning. So now I do 16 into 493. So that goes 3 times here, that's 48. And then 16 goes in 0 times. So now I have a remainder of 13, which is equal to D. So I put a D here. So then I go 16 into 30. So I'm always taking this number right here. That's good. That's what's going in here, right? This number went in there. So 16 into 30 goes once with a remainder of 15, and 15 is equal to E, so E goes here. Final problem, 16 goes into once 0 times, always go to get 0, right, with a remainder of 1. So that 1 goes here, so my answer would have been 1ED4 base 16. Okay, so the only difference is you have to do the long division, as I said, and the letters. All right, so let's just try those 2 problems, and then I'll give you another video with those answers, okay?